Time of the gentleman has expired. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Lamborn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have Exhibit 3 put up on the screen, please. And both of you have this in your packet in front of you. Okay, on the left, we see an unredacted document that you gave to the AP in response to a FOIA request. On the right is what you provided to this committee in response to a subpoena. Do you think it's your obligation to give less to Congress than you give to the public? Then why did this happen?
We were discussing this previously. I think that there is a FOIA process, which is a separate process that is managed by different people and according to FOIA standards, and there is a process of responding to congressional documents. And so I would say there's definitely an inconsistency here, and I'll attribute it to two different processes and speed and urgency on one hand. So people aren't comparing notes when we provide these documents. So,
and I would add that there might be different reviewers on different requests. I don't know this particular issue specifically, but the FOIA request might have been of a different scope for asking for different information than the congressional request, so that could account for some of the differences between the two.
Well, I'm hearing your answer, but I'm not accepting it, because you say that you spend millions of dollars doing review of our subpoenas, and you have so many thousands of man-hours in doing this, and yet we have these glaring inconsistencies.
I think when you're reviewing 60,000 pages, there can be some inadvertent inconsistencies. And again, I'm not sure the scope of the FOIA here matches the scope of the congressional request, so that could also account for some differences.
Well, I would have to think that the subpoena from your congressional overseers, and we're the people's representatives, we are elected here and sent here by the American public, is broader than a statutory remedy that the press has to get documents. We're talking about the Constitution here.
Yes, I'd actually like to address that. FOIA has very clear statutory provisions and exemptions and things that can be invoked. The accommodation process actually is different, where, as I said in my opening remarks, it's a negotiation, a discussion, a balancing of our respective interests. So that is a different format. So that also could account for different.
Okay, let's look at Exhibit 4. And once again, you have these documents in your packet, and you can also see them up on the screen. The one on the left is a partially redacted document that you gave to the AP under FOIA, and on the right is what you gave this committee in response to our subpoena. Basically, zero information on the right, and some kind of stab at giving information to the AP on the left. I don't see isolated issues here. I see a pattern. You're giving less to Congress than you're giving to everyone else. And if anything, it should be the other way around. Or you should be as open with everyone, as transparent with everyone, but not less transparent with the overseers in Congress.
Our goal is to be as responsive as we can to the committee and your requests. I think we've highlighted some of the issues that could be at play here. In addition to that, I think you will find us open to addressing, if there is an inconsistency, point it out to us, and we will get you the information that you are entitled to under your oversight authority. So I want to be clear, we are open and available and to address these
Well,
issues.
in that spirit, I'm told by staff that there are documents we've requested, and what's the issue again? On the Migratory Bird Act, that you have given disclosure of the documents we've asked for and have not been given by you, that you have given to a group out there in the public, and that I believe they've posted on the internet.
Again, as I said, if that's correct, we would like to have an open channel of communication with the committee. to ask specifically what you're looking for, what you want to know. The requests that we get are very broad. It ends up in us pulling thousands of documents together, reviewing those documents for thousands of hours, and retaining documents we think under the accommodation process we have an interest to retain and hold in our possession. But again, if there are specific things that you want to know about or that you feel that we've missed, let's talk about it and see if we can't address it.
Well, I am talking about it, and I want those documents.
Very good.
This committee
I
has issued
understand.
a subpoena. We want those documents. We can't fulfill our constitutional duty of oversight without those. That's why we've asked for them. And it's unacceptable that you're giving the press or outside groups more than you're giving us. And at a minimum, I think someone should be fired over this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Time of the gentleman has expired. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Utah, Mr. Bishop.